splotchy. Oh, no! There's the red dot.
I'm drinking coffee.
Coffee. I went. It is the season. Well, okay, I know.
It's not the season. Not the season. Everybody,
it's the start. It's the start.
It's not the start. We're recording in the middle of August. It's not the start.
Is it middle? I thought it was end. Yeah, it is middle. Okay. Normally I start at the end of July, but I'm behaving myself this year. But I'm like, nah, we're going, and we know this place. We've been there, Springhouse.
You
good memories.
People are ridiculous.
I was going to go for a little bourbon, some nice Woodford Reserve, bring back the Scares night. But then I was like, nah, I want to drive them nuts with a little pumpkin.
I just got a bottle of Old Tub bourbon.
Ooh.
And cracking the new spiced one. But I was gonna open that up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna drink some Reaper's Brew coffee.
There you go.
In my Reaper's Brew cup.
That's how it's done.
The cup that says, what the hell does it say? I run on coffee and horror movies.
Ooh, I got that one too.
I don't really run on coffee and horror movies. I do run on coffee though.
Well, for a good portion of your life, you ran on horror books at least.
Yeah, right. And I used to watch horror movies. I've watched a lot. I was talking to somebody not too long ago about, and they were like, "Oh, have you seen it?" Like somebody like I barely know, and they were like, "Oh, have you seen any new horror movies?" And I was like, "I don't watch them." And then I was like, "Oh, actually, wait, I guess I do." And then I said, "All right, this is some of the crap we watched, and this is some of the ones that I liked." So I actually did have an opinion on horror movies, which was funny.
Good balance.
Yeah, but so we haven't done this in a while, so
I know, right?
Exciting. So what is the tell everyone the theme of this episode?
Well, it's funny. I thought of you a little more with this one, and since you're you're a big thriller guy, but I want to go a little. Of course, want to mix it up. Want to go a little dark. I was looking up dark thrillers, so I want to push the edge a little bit and see where we can, with these movies, see where we can find that common ground with the theme and whatnot,
right.
And then of course like different versions of who done it type of thing, or like where's this leading to, and in different aspects of a really dark thriller with twists, each one having their own little twist, a little mystery, to it, allure to it.
Now, had you seen any of these movies before we started this?
No.
I'd seen 2 of these, and I didn't realize I saw them until I started watching them again. I'm like, wait a minute, I actually saw this movie because it's a thriller. So, but I could not remember the endings on either of them. So I was like, even when I got to the end on one of them, I was like, I don't even remember how that this movie ended. This one. Which is weird.
I've been there. I was like, oh, I love this movie. Wait a minute, how the hell does it end? And then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, one of them, which obviously we'll get to all 4 movies. One of them, I was like, probably a good 20, 30 minutes into it, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Like, I remember this scene, but I did not remember, like, the whole beginning of the movie. It was like, it felt familiar, but not enough, like, I had seen this. It was like, oh, I probably saw the trailer for this movie.
Yeah.
And then I realized, and of course, my wife, as soon as I mentioned it, she's like, yeah, we saw that movie. I think we saw that in the theater. I'm like, I had no idea. But let's get to our 4 movies. We'll see who liked and who did not like what here.
Mm-hmm.
The first one up, we can just go down the list.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler.
I'm glad we're doing this one first.
2014. I do not like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Okay. I am not a fan of his acting of his movies. This movie, to me, feels like this really is what he's like in real life. He's like a psychopath, weird dude.
You think he's creepy, huh? You think
he's creepy? Yeah, and this is a Soderbergh movie, right? I think it is. One of these is the director. One of these is a Soderbergh movie. Anyway,
I looked at the writer's name. I already forgot the name. He's married to Rene Russo, the writer, the creator.
Right. So the guy who created this, I do know because I saw this movie before.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched this without my wife. I watched this like 5 years ago when she was in an Atlanta trip or something. And I was like, there's nothing on, and I just put it on. It was like on HBO or whatever. And I remember then when I looked it up, because I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. The whole, basically the ambulance chasers who were filming clips for the news.
Stingers, right? I think they're called.
Yeah, I don't remember what they called them something. I thought I wrote it down. I did not, I guess. Anyway, the movie was supposed to be about an actual guy who does this. That was the original.
Oh.
That was the original concept for this movie. Was we're gonna make like his life story kind of thing, and then they were like, wait a minute, if we create this fictional thing, we can add a lot more to it, which is kind of neat. And supposedly the guy who they based this on was like, he would go into people's houses, he would crawl in the back seat of a car to take a shot of people dying in the front seat kind of thing.
Jeez.
So it was like really kind of crazy, like the stuff that you can see. I gotta look this up now because I'm gonna annoy the shit out of me.
They said the term stinger in the movie. I was like, that sounds familiar. And then when it got to the main chase scene near the end, that's when I was like, oh wait, like me and my wife watched a documentary on another guy who did this in LA, and it's a very intense lifestyle. That's independent or underground journalism itself is just as intense.
Yeah,
investigative journalism, I'm a big fan of. But like, what were you gonna say?
That's Dan Gilroy is the
yes.
He wrote it and directed it, but it's about it doesn't say it in here. Okay, the life and of American photographer Weegee, Weeegee, but switched focus after discovering the stringer. It's surrounding the stringer profession.
Stringer. Okay.
Stringer profession. Yeah, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, we've all watched the news a million times, and we see all this fire footage and the car wrecks and all this stuff. But obviously, there's somebody there with a camera shooting this stuff, and they're not doing it for free, and they're probably not working for the news agency itself. So it's kind of a cool way to get into that world and see what this profession does. And again, he is just creepy in this movie. Like the way he talks, the way he stares at you, all of it is just nutty. Bill Paxton
great.
He has a very small but really good, like crazy in your face part to it. I really liked him in this.
Yeah, it was funny, reading upon it was like, oh, a investigative journalism, explores his dark side, or whatever the plot is. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be neat. I always want to check this out, and I'm finally checking it out, and I'm always fascinated by that, and see where this takes us. And then he's not even a journalist in the beginning of the movie. You're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And you realize this guy's just doing whatever in life, and he gets inspired to do this profession, and he is good at it, but he's also like that creep level.
He's good at it because he's a psychopath. You know what I mean? Because he has.
So this is not just method acting. He's really
he has no moral compass in this movie.
Jared, you got Jared Leto, who's a cult leader. So I don't know. Maybe that people keep mixing him up. So
yeah, true.
You got a serial killer and a cult leader.
In the very beginning of the movie, he's basically just like robbing places. He's doing illegal things, just trying to make ends meet, kind of, which I totally forgot about in this movie. And then he hires somebody to basically be his assistant, and he just treats the guy like crap. It's a homeless guy, and you're treating him like garbage and giving him life lessons and stuff. From a guy who really is a thief and a grifter, and
right.
It's crazy. So, but
manipulator, big time manipulator,
complete. And I love how he, in this, so many times he misreads somebody. like Renee Russo, he's totally misreading.
She was fantastic in this.
Their relationship. Yeah, I was actually, I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I thought she was really good in this.
Yeah.
And I love the ending. For me, I didn't see it coming, and I already saw the movie, and I was like, I don't even remember how this ended. And then when you get to the end, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, that's a good ending.
Yeah, I agree with you. You just kind of like, oh man, you just feel bad for those people at the end. You're like,
Yeah.
You can't involve.
Yeah.
I like this too because the other ones have a stronger whodunit or what is this? Like one of the other movies. It's about certain things they're giving people. This one, it's more about the person himself, and really, there's no good people in this movie really.
No.
Except for his assistant who goes through hell with him. He's actually the only good kid in this.
Yeah.
But everybody else is like really consumed by this profession, and they do become their personas and their product of their environments because that's all they know. They really like, you really see behind the scenes of like trying to sell the story and what they're gonna do.
If it bleeds, it leads. That's
right.
That's always been the mantra there, and I think that's it's kind of it's a if you want to get deeper into this, you can go, oh, it's a reflection of society. It's a reflection of how we report news. It's a reflection of, at one point they're talking about, do we show the dead person's face? Well, we can't because we got to let they have to let the family know, and they're kind of they're annoyed at that.
Yeah, like, it's wild.
Like, well, wait a minute, we're gonna miss a scoop here. We're gonna miss our 6 a.m. 5-minute opening breaking news thing.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah,
and it's
because it's important, but but where's your moral compass on it?
Yeah, So I thought definitely the premise, everything else was definitely interesting. We'll say that. I don't know if I can get past Jake Gyllenhaal.
Hey, sometimes some people like, there's a really good movie and you're just like, this dude or this actor just killed it for me,
Yeah.
But and go with what you're saying about like digging deep. It's not just part of it is also like that, what they're gonna do to sell it, but also like the viewership. What's it really involves our obsession with like the dark side of life.
Yeah.
Even as a horror writer, and then if you're into true crime, it does have a true crime feel to this movie, which I really liked. It wasn't just your typical dark thriller. There's like a little bit of true crimes, a dark drama. Yeah. So there was a lot of subgenres mixed into one with this. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot. There was a lot to this one. All right, we're moving on.
Yeah, we did good with that. It's like we never left. It's like it doesn't feel like 2-3 months.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly.
Professionals.
All right, I'll let you take the lead on Kimi. This is from 2022. It's an HBO Max movie. I believe it's actually was made for HBO Max.
Yes, and I didn't realize it was that recent. I knew it was new, but I didn't realize it was like, I guess the year said 2022, and I was like, oh wow, okay. I thought it was like 2021, maybe 2020. So Kimi is about a tech who hears something disturbing over some kind of disturbing audio, and then discovers what happened and whatnot. And they don't say a description, but the tech really is almost like a next step up from Amazon, from next step up from like Alexa,
right?
Which is Kimi, which is funny, and which is good to say that because I thought Kimi was the character.
That's what exactly.
And Zoe Kravitz is awesome. I loved her in the Batman. She was great as Catwoman. I loved her in this movie. She was so you find out she's a agoraphobic. Did I say that right?
Agoraphobic, yeah.
And now when she's agoraphobic, you find out this is actually during COVID.
Yeah. And
we've always talked about like, can you really write about, can you get contemporary with this time we're going through? And it's cool like that now that they did it, they create a really decent like thriller with her.
We're a little,
it's more about her.
Yeah, we're a little past COVID in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But she still has the lingering of she's gone through it.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was neat. So there's some people you see with masks in it, but not everybody's wearing a mask. And
looks like today. Kind
of. So it's basically like today. They filmed it like a year or so ago, but it's like it's today. It's very It's very new. Yeah, the Kimi thing kind of threw me because all of a sudden she's talking to the Kimi, what's the weather? Kimi, and I'm like, wait, that's, that was I'm not a fan of hers.
Yeah.
I'm also not a fan of her parents.
Oh.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz, I do not.
That is her dad. I forgot. I probably did the research, but I forgot.
Yeah, and Lisa Bonet is her is her mom, which I don't like. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, I know her, and I never saw her. I've never seen her in anything else. And I'm watching, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, she's got a weird shape to her. She got weird things she does with her face. I'm like the whole thing was like, it was almost like distracting watching her in this movie. Mm-hmm. I thought it was good because it's not what you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's relationships she has with people, and you're like, okay, the way she's talking or dealing with things, then all of a sudden, boom, something completely different that she has with certain people. There's some really good violence in this movie.
Yeah, I was really shocked, actually.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to go there. Not that there's anything that's crazy, but it's not set up like a movie where people use nail guns. You know what I mean? It's not set up. Yeah, it's not set up.
I was laughing because I was like, "Is this gonna be? Did I pick movies with nail guns in them?" Because we'll get to that one later on too.
Yeah,
I was laughing.
But I liked it. I liked the flow of this. I love the paranoia she has, not only with not going outside, not wanting to leave, or the trying to leave and she can't leave.
Yeah.
And then, spoiler alert, she finally has to leave the apartment at some point because that's kind of obvious. Mm-hmm. And just the furtive looks, the way she's, moving from corner to corner, and the way she's walking down the street, and then they speed up the film a little bit, and they do some really cool things with just different camera angles and shadows and different things. And I thought it was well put together. Some of it was like, you know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yep.
There wasn't no huge surprises in this one, but I still thought it was a good movie because we're focused on her. She's obviously the movie,
mm-hmm.
but there are a few other side characters that we actually get to know. They're not one-dimensional characters. So you have kind of that Hitchcock people in the windows across the street, and who are these people? And they're watching her, and she's watching them, and she's living her life by basically looking out her window when she's not working.
Yeah.
So she really doesn't have that much of a life, and so I thought that was kind of neat too, that we brought other people into this as well.
Yeah, I agree with you on the flow. The flow is really, really good because it's a good character piece.
Right.
It's a very, very good character-driven movie, and you almost feel like it's got such a big build. You're almost kind of like, wow, is this too big for like an hour and a half movie? 'Cause it's not a long movie.
No.
I really enjoyed the combination of her fears of going outside with the fears of pandemic and what happened.
Right.
But also she is with her job. Like they created this new listening device that listens to you in order. Wait, where's my? There we go. Listens to you. I can't see all my fingers. In order to adjust to your liking. So it's like, oh yeah, this is legal, but it still questions a little bit, and you see that it was really creepy how she's able to like listen to a little kid talk to this device and change and put like those certain like words in it, certain buzzwords.
Right.
And then that's how she discovered this supposed.
It's like it's Alexa on steroids.
Yeah.
That is listening to you, listening to your questions, listening to the stuff going on, and she's on the other end of that. So if you're asking a question and the Kimi doesn't understand
Mm-hmm.
she's typing in what the actual question
As the conversation's going,
as conversations are going, and fixing it and updating that specific unit, which is crazy. I did like, it's this, this is the greatest thing ever. I mean, they're touting it, but I did like, as she's talking to other techs,
mm-hmm.
and she's talking to a guy, and he's like, "Oh, well, Kimmy did this," and then Kimmy starts talking. He's like, "Shut up, Kimmy!" Like they're annoyed.
That's like you with Alexa, like playing Cable Corps out of nowhere in the background.
Right?
Like
Yeah. So it's funny that
yeah, I always do creepy stuff too, but her name's different. I'm not saying it.
Yeah, there's that reality part of it. You know what I mean? And so we don't even have that anymore, because it was in the kitchen, and me and my wife would be having a conversation, and it would start talking or playing things, so it was really it got to the point where we're like, all right, we got to get rid of this, and she literally like put it away. Now I have the little whatever, but it just for music. It's not turned on
right
to listen. I just do it through like my Spotify, so it just plays music, because that's just too. I don't want a voice behind me starting.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. I was just like, oh, this is really, 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 and it dives deeper into that conspiracy. It is kind of conspiracy. You find out there are certain people involved in certain things, and try to protect certain things. I don't want to say too much, because it's not as it is a little twisty, but it's not like twisty like the other movies. This one gives it away too soon, unfortunately. Yeah. That's what my problem is with the movie. It does give it away too soon, but it does. I didn't think Hitchcock, so I'm glad you said that. But it does have that old school thriller feel. I also love the music. The music had it made me think of The Thing. That very, not John Carpenter's version, but more of the I don't remember the guy's name. He passed on now. I have it on vinyl, but the way he did the score and how he amped up the paranoia within, within certain of the tones and whatnot. I was like, oh my god, because at first I was like, this is Spielberg, and I'm like, no, that sounds like The Thing.
Yeah. Which also helps. Cool. Which also helps when she's walking, when she's out of the house and she's around. All that music just adds to
big time.
You're feeling her paranoia, which is great.
Yep. And yeah, that was cool. And then now when it gets to the action, I love the action in the end, because it was left field. It was getting really dark, which I was glad, because it wasn't the darkest movie out of the dark thrillers I picked. But then I'm like, oh my god, how dark is this gonna get? Because I was getting worried. I was like not like I couldn't handle it. But I was worried for the character. And I don't want to be that typical ending, And so I'm glad it went the way it did, where it's almost like it's her overcoming her fears. That's the best I could say with it. And I was like, all right, this is kind of fun. This is cool. I like this. And then other characters playing a part. And then it didn't feel too rushed. I think this is where my wife always makes fun of me when I go like this. Some movies I feel like there's like 5 or 10 extra minutes just to give a little more, because once it gets to certain scenes, you feel like there could be a little more. Right. But it doesn't take away from it, but it worked, because of how strong the buildup was. There could have been maybe 5 minutes or so.
You could have added more, obviously you're filming a movie like this. It's like a 3-hour uncut thing. And then they're editing it down to that like 90 minutes or whatever it was. But I thought it worked. I thought, I thought all put together, I thought it worked pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a cool movie. I'm glad I got to check that out. It's very different, neat.
Yeah.
So
not bad at all. The next one was The Gift from 2015. This one is a movie me and my wife saw in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize until I started watching. Until I started watching again, and I was like, this feels familiar, but maybe it's like something. And then all of a sudden there was like a part, and I was like, oh my god, I remember this part.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I remember it. And Jason Bateman, I think, is phenomenal in this. I love everything he does, and this is a little different character than you normally get from him, which is what I like. There's a lot of different levels and whatnot. And the dude who plays Gordo, I'm seeing him on a bunch of things now lately, which is pretty cool too. But again, it's the movie where a successful, sure of himself guy and his wife moved back near the town he grew up in, and he runs into somebody from high school who they used to call him Weirdo Gordo, and and they just kind of it's I love that the plot slowly unspools.
Yeah.
As you're watching, not everybody is who you think they are, and I think that's kind of the cool part. And the ending really makes you wonder what's true and what's not true.
Yeah.
On all this. And I mean, it's all based on lies. It's all everything in this kind of is what it comes back